Hi guys, we're back here to solve now tangent equations. So I'm gonna solve this one here. Tangent of x equals square root of 3 when we restrict the domain from negative 90 degrees to 720. If they tell us this domain restriction in degrees, that means that they want the answer also in degrees. So let's first understand what is the tangent and how does it look like. Okay, so this is how the tangent looks like, the graph of the tangent, and as you can see, the tangent is very different from the sine and the cosine. The sine and the cosine, they look like waves, while the tangent does not. Actually, as we see also, the sine and cosine, the range is restricted from a negative 1 to 1, right? It just goes from negative 1 to 1. It just doesn't surpass that those values, while here this goes up forever, right? So actually we have also asymptotic discontinuities. But the most interesting part to look at is that actually, let's see if I can make this. Yes. So if you look at this is it goes from negative pi to pi. That means that every pi, this is repeating. I'm not sure if you guys see it, but this is repeating every pi, which makes the solution of tangent equation the easiest one of all trig functions. So because also wait here, yeah, let me imagine that I would like to solve tangent of x equals 1, right? Okay, so as you can see here, okay, every pi, it's repeating the answer. Every pi, the answer is repeating. That's why it's so easy. Okay. Remember, for sine and cosine, we might have two answers that are repeating every 2 pi, but here just every pi. It doesn't matter what you're trying to look at, that it's always going to be this. Well, except yeah, when the tangent is you see the tangent here would be this red line. Let me see if we can get this down. Yes, so here we have the tangent, the value of the tangent. As you can see, the tangent starts really small for really low angles, and it then increases, and as it increases and increases for angles close to 90, tangent is really big, right? You see here 28, right? And then for when it's 90, it's undefined. It's just infinity, right? So that wouldn't have a solution, correct? So again, the tangent, we have a discontinuity. It also happens the same thing for 270. It's also undefined, right? So these are the things that you have to kind of watch out when you're trying to solve tangent equations. And again, for besides those points, those discontinuity points, it just repeats every pi or every 180 if we're talking about degrees. Okay, so we're going to try to solve this. Tangent of x equals square root of 3, and they're restricting us the domain from negative 90 to 20. Okay, now let's look at this. How do we solve trig equations? Remember what I'm going to do here to solve this trig equation. I'm just going to take now the arctangent both sides. That's the operation I'm going to do, both sides. And again, in this side, this is going to cancel out. And here, then we're going to have arctangent. So we have x equals arctangent of square root of 3, which it means for which angle the tangent is the square root of 3. That's what we're trying to guess. So to do this, I'm going to take the calculator. I'm going to start with radians. So I'm going to change here the mode to, sorry, with degrees. We're going to start with degrees, which is easier. So now we're going to do arctangent. Let's make sure you guys see arctangent. Second tangent, inverse tangent of square root of 3. And we have the answer that it's 60 degrees. Okay, 60 degrees. So we have one answer that's going to be 60 degrees. But as we said, this repeats every 180. So if we keep adding with the calculator 180, we're going to get more solutions. So I make sure, and then I add plus 180, and I have 240. And this is another solution, plus 180, and I get 420, and this is another solution. So as long as they're inside of this restricted domain, they're solutions. So that's going to be 60 degrees is going to be one solution. Then I have 240 degrees, another one. Then 420, another one. And I keep going, plus 180, and the next one I get is 600, which is still inside. The next one is going to be 660, right? And then 720. And 720 is still included because what this bracket means is square parentheses, or however you want to call it, is that this is also included in the domain. When we subtract, right? When we subtract, I'm sorry, made a mistake here, right? I'm adding 60, which is not, I should add 180. Oh my God, so that's gonna be 780, which is not included. I'm sorry, these are not answers, right? I'm sorry, because the next one, when we keep adding 180, I don't know why I added 60 here, it's too big because it's 780 and it's above the domain. Let's go to the other side. So when we subtract 60 minus 180, what we get is negative 120 and negative 120. Let's write it here, negative 120. Okay, negative 120. This is below 90, so it's not going to be included. Okay, so that's it. So this is how we solve it. We could also do the same thing with radians, but instead of adding or subtracting 180, when I have to add or subtract, it will be pi. And that's it. Done.